Welcome back to Drury University here in Springfield, Missouri, bringing you the 8A gold ball game between the HEA Firebirds and the Tyler Heat. My name is Paul Gilmore, and I have the pleasure of being joined by Thomas Sanders. We're going to kick this game off. HEA in the white uniforms with the orange numbers. Lily Williams wins the tip for HEA. Meanwhile, Tyler Heat also an orange team, but they're going to wear their black uniforms with the orange trim. Entry pass into Williams, no good. That's going to be stolen. Both of these teams feature a lot of talent. 3 all-region players for HEA and 2 for Tyler Heat. And we're going to start the game. There's going to be a foul called on the floor. That foul is on number 24, Emma Kirksey. First foul of the game. So now the first true offensive possession will be HEA swinging the ball around the perimeter. Valentine on the drive, no good. And we're going to have an over-the-back called on Williams.
Yeah, Paul, watching these teams play last year, it's been a full year since I've been on the call again, so I'm happy to be back. Thank you guys for having me back. But I'm watching this team play last year. This is almost like a championship level game here, although the quarterfinals, high level game, high level teams. Good to see these girls are back competing again.
That shot is good for Lexi Fuller. She starts the scoring. Tyler Heat scored the first points of the game. And Thomas, that's a good point. We were talking about that on the broadcast yesterday, is that once you get out of the pools, we did pool play Monday and Tuesday, and once you exit the pools, it really is the best 8 teams left in the country. Valentine for 3, no good, off the back iron.
Yeah, I was monitoring some of the 18U boys games last night and watching some of the teams that dropped out. It was like, wow, I'm not used to seeing that from years past in the national championship tournament, that good teams are losing on Tuesday and Wednesday. But the reality is the competition is good across the table now. And so top teams, unfortunately, get a knockout on the girls' and guys' side now early.
And we even had 2 top teams that were down double digits in the fourth quarter last night that ended up pulling it out and staying alive. And that's the name of the game. So how we got here is HEA won Pool A. They went 3-0. Defeated Tulsa Chef, Northside Lions, and Dallas Thunder. Meanwhile, to become the runner-up in this game, to play in this game, Tyler Heat was the runner-up in Pool C. They went 2-1, and they beat Fort Wayne, lost to Oklahoma Flame, and then beat Texas Truth.
So if I'm hearing that right, that's game 4 now in the 3-day period. Is that right? We're going game 4 for these ladies?
Correct. The girls 18 and under, they did pool play, and they had 2 games on Monday, 1 game yesterday, and then 1 game from here on out.
So your body's probably starting to feel it a little bit now, and then certainly more as we head into Thursday and Friday. It's going to be some of the tests is going to be how these athletes, particularly the ones playing, 75, 80% of the game, how are they going to respond to fatigue? Because this is not something normally that you're going to see or play in a regular season.
That three-pointer no good from Fuller. She had a good look at it, and it just rimmed out. Williams the rebound. And that's a great point, Thomas, because that's not even counting that some of these players might be double rostering. I don't know if many of the girls on these teams are, but we saw this earlier in a boys 16 gold ball. Their entire roster is basically their 18U also. So they're playing 2 games a day the entire week.
It's funny when you're young, you don't think you feel it sometimes. I definitely do now. But when you're young, you don't think about it. What you start seeing is shots start missing short, layups are not falling that you do, and maybe you're getting blocking fouls instead of charging because you're slow to the spots. And so it's something just to be aware of as you're an athlete and you're watching this stuff. It's like, hey, fatigue does play a role in your jump shooting, in your defense, and whether you're aware of it or not, it affects the gameplay.
And entry pass from Hannah Williams to her sister Lily. That shot was no good, but she was fouled by Riley Berggren. And that's going to put Lily at the free throw line. And you talked about the fatigue, Thomas. It's not only that, but I had a chance to talk to Coach Williams on Sunday before the game started, and she mentioned that for her HEA Firebirds, there are 7 players that are injured for the season that they started the year with. So at one point they had a 14U player called up to start for the 18U, and it's just been that kind of season, but here they are still battling to defend their national championship from last year.
Oh, it's a huge thing, particularly in March. You got to imagine most of these teams are already going to be battling some injuries. You're 5-6 months into your season. You know, many states, their state competitions have already wrapped up, whereas homeschool's still playing in mid-March. So you've already gone through a full season. Now you're battling injuries, and your roster may be 7, and now you're hitting 5-6 games in a 4-day period. It's a lot.
It is a lot, and we'll see who is up to the task. Tyler Heat did a good job of saving that ball on the baseline, throwing it off Williams. Fuller got left alone for just a moment. She fires up a 3, and that's nothing but net. Lexi Fuller, the all-region player for Tyler Heat, has given the Heat a 5-1 lead against HEA. Ball inside to Lily Williams. She's fouled again. She'll go to the free throw line. That foul is on Savannah Fuller. For the
Firebirds, they're going to have to watch it. That was an absolute just miscommunication. I believe that was one between Hannah Williams and Emma Lincoln on that 2-3 zone. Man, that's a dangerous spot. So at 2-3, you should be weak in the high post, but certainly not a top of the key three-pointer. So early lead here for the Firebirds. Hopefully, for Tyler Heat. Hopefully Firebirds can ease back into that zone, and let's see it get some stops.
And that's certainly not a player you want to lose track of or leave alone. She is a deadly shooter. Williams free throws, cuts the deficit back to 2.
And as I'm watching this, Paul, I think I made a mistake. It looked like a 2-3 zone. I actually think it's a man-to-man, almost a matchup zone as I'm watching it now. Lily Williams stays right at home, which I think gives the illusion of a zone. But I believe it's maybe almost like a one-man zone wherever else is pressuring the ball, which is a tough defense with her height and size in the lane.
We saw that last night, too, from the Red River Rattlers boys. Chris Elias, their center, was basically playing a one-man zone down low, finished the game with like 16 blocks, and the rest of the players were playing man.
Look, it's a luxury. If you have a shot blocker at the rim like that, it allows the guards to really overplay and pressure because they know they have help behind them. So you can really overplay because if you're sending them back to a shot blocker, the offense knows they can't just drive in if they get by them. They're always needing a second defender. So if you have the luxury of having a girl her size, it is huge for your defensive ability.
Great inbounds play. Lincoln slipped behind the defense. She was the co-MVP of the Midwest region. On the drive, that shot is denied. Arrington tried to get it over Williams.
And there's case in point, right? Pressure up top, gets in the lane, but then you meet Williams and then block shot, turnover, and not offensive possession here.
Valentine, she drives to the left. That shot is denied. Swatted away by Kirksey, but it'll stay with the Firebirds. On the inbounds, just throw it up to Williams. In the corner, Hannah Williams for 3. Too strong off the back iron. On the drive, Fuller left it short. Last touch by the Firebirds. On the inbounds, right inside. Kirksey had it blocked by Williams. And you can see already, Thomas, how she just changes the dynamic inside the paint.
Everything. I mean, anytime, and what's going to start happening pretty soon if this continues is Tyler's going to be nervous to even go to the rim. And that's when you start changing. Shot blockers change the game. Sometimes almost indirectly, because you see the block shots that they have. I think Lily Williams has either 2 or even maybe 3 at this point. I've not seen the stats yet. However, soon enough, the offense is going to quit going at her, and so now you're forced to drive, kick, and shoot 3-pointers. And when you start having that effect on an offense, man, it's really, really hard to get to score, because now you're just passing on the perimeter.
And one thing that happened on that last possession is there was another foul on Tyler Heat, and that was the 5th team foul of the quarter. So for the rest of the first quarter, HEA is going to be going to the line. This is Amber Rao looking to shoot 2. And that's big, because there's still 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. And if you're Tyler Heat, you got to start looking at your players getting in foul trouble. Rao knocks down both. Firebirds take a 2-point lead. Three-pointer on the way. That's no good off the back iron. Offensive rebound Heat, but they throw it away. Looked like on that last play on the free throw, Williams might have taken a little bit of a knock. It took her a while to get up the court.
Yeah, she's checking herself a little bit. She's slow, a little limp. Hopefully she's okay, but took a hard fall on the block out.
Hopefully she's all right. 2:24 left to go in the opening quarter of this girls 18 and under 8A gold ball game. So looking at quick programming, the winner of this game advances to the Gold Ball Showdown Series, essentially the National Final Four, against the winner of the West Michigan Hornets and the Chap Chariots. That game is coming up next here at Drury. Hard to believe we're already almost halfway through Nationals 2025. Feels like we just got started, and yet here we are. Meanwhile, over at Evangel, another girls 18U game. The CHSM Crimson Knights lead Dallas HSAA 13-9, 15-9 in the first quarter. Lily was looking inside for a cutting Lincoln. That's out of bounds.
If you're HEA at this point, almost everything you should be doing is attacking the rim. They're already in the bonus like you mentioned, Paul. So whereas in the old days it was a 1-and-1, now it's 2 shots every time. So even a foul on the floor, you're going to the line. So in a game as low scoring as this right now, those free throws would be critical if they can get to it.
And that time the handle was lost out of bounds on the far side. Arrington couldn't corral the handle. And you're right, Thomas. I remember it used to be 17 fouls and a half would be a 1-and-1, and then 10 is double bonus. So had to retool my thinking a little bit, and it changes the strategy as well.
It changes the strategy a lot. So it's rare to see a big shot from Lily Williams. There's caulking on her. But, man, what it really does change the strategy. If you get 5 fouls early in a quarter, it's almost like everything should shift where you're simply attacking. Particularly they're calling this game pretty tight at this moment. So attack, attack, attack.
And we talked about it earlier. It seemed like the gravity of Williams changed the decision for that shot as well. It was a high arcing floater as opposed to just a regular layup attempt or jump shot.
When there is a shot blocker in the lane, it changes. There she is again. So difficult shot, but high level of difficulty on these. She right now with her aggression, she is changing the way that Tyler's having to attack.
Excellent shot by Savannah Fuller, and that cuts the deficit back to 2 for Tyler. Williams is going to fire a 3. That's no good off the left side. Quickly back the other way, the Heat. Fuller in the corner to Arrington for 3, and that's good.
So right now, HEA looks a little tired. You mentioned they got playing with a 7-person roster. They have some bigs, but now they're getting points now in transition. The semi-transition, 1-pass kick and corner 3. So you can see the HEA's content to kind of air it out and slow it down a little bit.
And that's been their MO the last several seasons. Very methodical, bringing the ball up the court. Sometimes I think that's just to let their players breathe. Williams screen for Valentine, three, no good off the back iron. So 15 seconds left to go. Heat can extend their lead. Fuller drives to her left, floats it up, no good off the back rim. Couple of seconds left. Valentine has it at the half court. She's going to heave it up, and no good off the backboard. After 8 minutes, Tyler Heat lead HEA Firebirds 10-9. Second quarter action and more coming up after this intermission. Back here at the O'Reilly Family Event Center on the campus of Drury University. 18U, 8A gold ball game. HEA, Tyler Heat. Heat found themselves a 1-point lead after the first quarter with some good three-point shooting. On the spin, that shot no good from Fuller.
So, Paul, in the first quarter, Tyler was doing a good job, and they scored their, several of the first 10 points. I think 6 of their 10 points were in transition. So with the Lily Williams being in the lane, they're going to do better either pushing in transition or moving that offense a little bit because she's such a force defensively. It's going to be hard to find much in a kind of half-court, like one-pass set like what we just saw. They're going to have to move her and move this defense a little bit with the size or push it in transitions. This is going to be a tough defense to score on when you're stationary like this, like we just see here.
And that's going to be a foul going the other way on Lexi Fuller. That's her first.
There's just too much size discrepancy on this thing to play it offense at offense, which, pace on pace, I guess is the term that I've heard. And essentially what I'm saying is like, whereas HEA can afford to slow this thing down and work into her, I don't think Tyler can in the half court. They're not going to win that game against them. If they can push them, make them run in transition, and or make Lily move and get out of the lane a little bit, they're going to have a better chance those lanes will open up. The past two possessions, they've kind of slowed it down, worked it in, and that's not going to work well against her.
That jumper by Lincoln was no good.
So anytime the offense is stagnating, she can sit and watch and wait. So it's move. Tough, difficult shot again.
That shot is rejected by Williams.
By my count, 4 block shots in this first half.
She's an impact defensive player. She is the Sullivan Award winner, which is the returning National Player of the Year. She won the Maravich Award last year.
Yeah, and well-deserved. I mean, game changer offensively and defensively.
That ball errantly thrown, but ends up back in the hands of the Heat, looking for some kind of answer in this half court.
So they're going to a 1-4 set high. Should be some kind of passing back screen. There it is, right into a high screen. So here they're trying to get some action in this half court, which is good. But the thing is, Paul, is like holding the ball against this kind of size is not effective.
And
difficult
that time,
shot.
Yeah, nice up and under move for Lexi Fuller. She's got 7 points here in the first half.
The key for Tyler is going to have to be perimeter movement so that Lily has to move back, forth.
Inside, difficult pass for Williams. Stolen away by the Heat, quickly the other way in transition. Back out to Lexi Fuller for 3. And that's nothing but net.
And there you see it. Tyler gets out in transition. 2-pass, open shots, buries a 3. Beautiful offensive possession. Love that if you're Tyler Heat.
And Heat now lead by 6 with 5:04 left in the second quarter. And Thomas, just like you talked about, the pace of Tyler picked up in that last possession led to a transition three-pointer, and essentially a transition three-pointer.
100%, and it could have been a transition three-pointer layup. It doesn't matter. But when you have, I don't even know if they're faster. I'm not even saying they are. I just know that HEA has Lily Williams in the lane, and so I know what's not going to work. And essentially holding the ball, calling for a high screen is going to be very ineffective. You're not going to win in a half-court offense against this team. You're going to have to push them out, swing it, make her move. She, like we said, 7 players, 4 games, 5 days. All these factors lead in, and she's a force in the lane. So you got to make her move either in transition or by offensive possessions on the perimeter. Great offense for Tyler on that possession.
Meanwhile, HEA is yet to score here in the second quarter. Good job by the Heat defense as well to prevent Williams. They're double teaming her. Cross-court pass is tipped, and that's going to be last touched by HEA. Three-pointer that time is going to be short to the right. No good from Kirksey.
So that's the second miscommunication HEA's had on that. They kind of dodged one there, but a rhythm 3 for Tyler Heat. So let's see if HEA gets something going on this offensive end. They keep trying to punch into Lily Williams, but obviously Tyler Heat is not having that. They've got a double team, you can see. The action, Paul, that I would like to see from HEA, it worked once early as Lila Valentine buries a 3, would be a high screen with Lily Williams. Right now they're doubling her in the post. I would love to see them pull her out for that ball screen that's going to pull those 2 defenders with her. And when that guard comes, you're going to have 3 defenders now on 2 offensive players. It should be a skip and a shot. If I was HEA, I would try to, on offense, pull her out, make her do a screen roll, and see how they're going to guard it.
Arrington had the ball knocked out of her hands, but gets it in the corner to Kirksey. That shot no good. Back out to Savannah Fuller.
See, now you're seeing Tyler skip this ball a little bit quicker.
Lexi Fuller working against Valentine.
Lila Valentine does a really good job putting pressure on the ball. Good defensive player.
And right now, no ball screens or anything for the Heat. They're just working one-on-one. Nice stop and pop jumper is no good. That was from Fuller. She got the offensive rebound but stepped out of bounds. This time they do work it into Williams in the high post. On the step through, she's fouled.
Did they get that on the shot?
They called that foul on Berggren.
So you can see Tyler Heat's double teaming Lily Williams pretty much nonstop. She makes a great decision to her sister, but now she has 3 on her.
Hannah Williams, wide open 3. No good off the front rim. Offensive rebound, Valentine. Resets into Williams. She puts it up a little too short.
So, Paul, it seems like Tyler Heat is content to double and even triple team Lily Williams. They're almost, that's going to be a strategy. Can the rest of them beat us in this offense?
Offensive rebound for Tyler. On the drive, Fuller has that swatted out of bounds. So
good drive by Tyler, but again, there's Lily Williams. That's that's a deflating play as a guard. Like, you work hard to make a good move, but then you meet the shot blocker at the rim. So next time you go in, you're going to think twice on it.
On the drive, no good on the left-hand layup. Second attempt, short from Fuller. Rebound pulled down by Williams, and she saves it. Firebirds headed the other way. 2 minutes to go. Clock has not started. There it goes. 15-12 lead for Tyler Heat.
HEA is content to slow it down.
Valentine drives baseline, loses the handle, and that's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Firebirds.
So that was one of the few moments that HEA did not have Lily Williams in the post, and you saw Lila Valentine try to capitalize on that. She had an open lane, couldn't quite break defense down, but I like where her head was at. You don't see the lane too often open with HEA. However, had it there for a moment.
Nice feed from Lincoln inside to Williams. I think the other thing I noticed as well is every time they look to pass it into Williams and that second defender comes underneath, Rao is open on the far corner, have not been able to get it to her as well, and when they do, she hasn't been quick to take the shot.
That skip, yeah, you're right, Paul. That skip pass is there. I think the last time we saw that, the pass got picked off on the skip, but it is because they're doubling. And when you double, you're giving up something. In this case, it's that corner skip pass is open for HEA if they could deliver it, and they'll have corner threes. So again, this is that offense that Tyler's been in that I would like to see a little bit more movement before we attack on this thing. I think it's going to be hard because Lily's just sitting right there with 5 or 6 block shots already in this first half. They may be holding for the last shot.
45 seconds to go in the first half. Lexi Fuller on the baseline. They're going to have a foul on Williams. Just the first foul for Hannah Williams.
So there we saw a screen and then a re-screen on Lila Valentine. That second one put her on the floor. So at a college level, if that happens, oftentimes the big will actually be taken out of the game for getting their guard hurt like that. Because they would say, hey, you have to communicate on what we're going to do. Otherwise, your guard ends up with concussions or something like we just saw. So, man, communication is such a huge part of basketball. And a play like that shows why. Because you don't want to get your guard running into a player who's twice their size with a possible injury that could happen.
Valentine nearly picked that pass. Great defense from HEA in the final seconds of the second quarter. That shot was flipped up by Lexi Fuller as she was falling down. And then the ball is going to be last touched by Firebirds. So HEA had the possession and then lost it on the sideline. Ten seconds to play in the first half. Fuller to her left looking for a baseline cutter, not there. Savannah driving to her right, spins left. Lily Williams is not able to block that one. Nice shot from Savannah Fuller to end the half. And that's going to do it after 16 minutes of play. Tyler Heat 17, HEA Firebirds 14. Second half action and a lot more to come here at Drury today after this halftime intermission. Second half underway here at Drury University. In the first half, the Tyler Heat took a 17-14 lead over the HEA Firebirds. We'll see what kind of adjustments these teams were able to make at halftime. Paul Gilmore alongside Thomas Sanders on the call of this girls 18 and under 8A gold ball game.
Yeah, it was a great first half, Paul. I tend to think the story of who's going to win this game is going to be about tempo. Right now, HEA wants to slow this game down. So far, it was effective. The game is going a really slow tempo, as shown by the score 14-17. I think for Tyler to win, they're going to want to get up and down a little bit more. So right now, although they're up, I think they're going to want a higher scoring game. It's going to be more fast tempo. To be determined. Sometimes who controls the tempo ends up being the one who wins the game often. So I think Tyler's going to want to run a little bit more than what HEA does. So if they can get this ball moving, get some shots in transition, that's going to be a good outcome for them. If they can't, I think it's going to be a struggle. And
in that first half, the Fuller sisters, the all-region players for Tyler Heat, showed why they deserve some recognition, particularly some tough baskets around the rim around Lily Williams.
And that's the stuff, Paul, that, yeah, they're tough shots, but ultimately through the course of a game, like if you're not getting some easy shots either in transition or open threes, it's going to wear on you. You can't count on those. And they made a lot of contested shots at the rim around Lily Williams, even though she had, 6 block shots, I believe?
That entry pass no good for Williams that time. And something that I'm just monitoring is every time Rao gets the ball in the corner, she's got space to take a shot, but she seems hesitant. She hasn't taken one three-pointer yet, and she's the zip pass person.
There's a term that I've heard, it's like you're stealing from your team. When your team works to get a shot for you and you don't take it, and that's where it's like that's the shot that the team needs because they've worked, they've skipped, and then that's the thing, you got to pull that shot. Because oftentimes, even if you don't make it, your team's in rebounding position, you're going to get a second shot on it. And if I'm coaching her, you've got to pull that when it comes off that skip.
And she's capable of hitting it. I've seen her shoot. We had a game earlier on Monday, and she knocked down a couple of triples. So hopefully she gets that confidence to pull the trigger on that. Meanwhile, Williams hits both free throws, cuts the deficit back to just 1. Both teams playing slow-paced half-court offense so far in this game.
So look at this. So this is like almost this one-man zone is what HEA looks like they're in. So it's difficult sometimes to tell. Is this a very wide 2-3, or are they matching up man-to-man? Because it looks like a one-man zone with Lily Williams anchoring the middle. Which for those who may be watching or listening who may not know, essentially a one-man zone would be you have 4 perimeter players who are matched up, and your 5th player, often your post or your dominant shot blocker, basically guards no one, but rather that little charge zone, that little upside-down circle in the lane is kind of their area they patrol. And so the idea is that if the defense was to break down by the guards, they're always going to meet your shot blocker in the middle.
So right there you see Rao in the corner, had all the time in the world, was looking for Williams, couldn't get it into her, and then a cutting Lincoln couldn't connect on the layup.
Yeah, that shot's got to be it's got to go up. They're giving her space, and like you said, she's capable of hitting that shot. It's a rhythm shot. That's what the offense needs her to take.
That's something that will help open up the defense as well. Meanwhile, in the far corner, that three-pointer is going to go up. Went over everything, and then on the rebound, Savannah Fuller, no good, and Lily Williams secures the rebound. And Rao is wide open on the far side. Nice look underneath. That time her shot is blocked. Good job by Berggren to deny that layup. Meanwhile, Lexi Fuller has it stripped away. And Thomas, we mentioned this earlier, a lot of teams on that turnover would be running out. All 4 of the 5 Firebirds are walking the ball up. And again, I think for them that's just an opportunity to catch their breath.
Well, look, if I'm HEA and coaching them, I might do the same thing. You're sitting with a 7-player roster. You're looking ahead to one, in their case, hopefully 2 more games beyond this, and you've got the biggest player on the court. So you don't need the rush.
That time, Valentine could not connect on the layup. Offensive rebound from Williams could not be put in, and the ball will go back to Tyler.
I still think that the slower tempo over time is going to favor HEA. I think Tyler's going to want to speed this thing up if they're going to pull this game out.
And we saw that in the undisputed game last year. HEA played West Michigan, and West Michigan, a very fast-paced team that wanted to speed them up, and yet somehow throughout the course of the game, HEA just slowed it down.
Tempo is a huge thing in basketball.
That shot no good from Savannah Fuller. That ball poked away.
And you can see Tyler Heat double teaming Lily Williams. And there's that corner three.
This time Rao is going to take it. No good, but a good look on it. Like you talked about, Thomas, leads to an offensive rebound putback.
That's right, because the defense now has shifted, Paul, so they have to react to the skip. So all the attention goes to that corner, and guess who leaves offside? The best rebound in the game, Lily Williams there to pick up the miss. Interesting stat in basketball, at least as a few years ago, a stat was recorded, and I believe this was in the NCAA, that 69% of misses go long on those offside shots. And so there you have your offside rebounder picking it up, putting it in. So, yeah, I think whether or not Rao hits the shot or not is almost irrelevant. It's got to go up.
We'll see if she continues to take that shot. Meanwhile, give a lot of credit to the Tyler Heat for continuing to attack Williams. She swatted that ball out of bounds, but Berggren still continuing to try to look for opportunities. That three-pointer no good, too strong off the backboard. HEA brings it up slowly once again. They now have the lead, 18-17. Valentine on the drive. She's going to be fouled on the floor. They give that foul to Lexi Fuller. That's her second. So no Heat player is technically in foul trouble yet by my count, unofficial book. Kirksey has 3, Berggren 2, Fuller 2, and Savannah Fuller 2.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean game so far. Nothing too physical. Well played, pretty disciplined.
Lincoln, short, chases the rebound, but ends up in the hands of Savannah Fuller. On the inside, Lexi Fuller, and that's denied by Williams.
Yeah, that's what we've talked about all game. Those shots are not going to be there at the rim against HEA. She's just too big. She's too active. They're going to have to swing it, spread it, and then try to get in transition.
On the inbounds, up ahead to Savannah.
There's a skip pass you mentioned, Paul.
That shot is going to be short. Offensive rebound controlled by Fuller. Harrington, that's going to be over the head of everybody. Rebound controlled by Rao. Stolen away. Berggren. Three-pointer on the way. That's going to be short. Good box out by Hannah Williams. And Tyler Heat struggling. 6 minutes of this quarter. They have 0 points on the board. Not much going for HEA either. They only have 4, but it's enough to give them the 1-point lead.
HEA content to move it around the perimeter. They're going to work into Williams slowly.
Williams drops it in over the front of the rim. She's fired up. Back to a 3-point lead, but still just a one-possession game.
Look, that's one of the best looks she's had all game. Even with 2 on her, at least she had caught it with 1. They doubled her, but she was already in shot motion. So good, clean look for Lily Williams, and the patience HEA showed there got them a great look offensively.
So Williams has 13 of the 20 for HEA.
Paul, again, unofficially here, but I'm going to guess she's going to be flirting with a triple-double this game. I think she probably has 7 or 8 blocks. Got to be close on rebounds as well.
That time the shot no good from Berggren.
So right now, Tyler Heat has not made a field goal this quarter. Put plenty of shots up, but a lot of contested jump shots, layups. Hopefully they can get something going here.
Williams drives to her right, looks underneath for Rao, back to Williams. Muscles her way to the rim, can't connect on that one, and the ball's going to stay with HEA.
She'd be a hard player to officiate because she's aggressive, so she initiates so much contact sometimes in players like that, it's difficult to see is it a block or is it a charge, because you clearly see contact. It doesn't always mean it's a charge.
Valentine for three. That's a big shot. Lila Valentine creating a little bit more separation for HEA as we head to the end of the third quarter.
Not only that, now that's going to open up that lane, because now they're going to have to honor that shot. That court just got bigger for the Firebirds.
And that ball errantly thrown, but corralled by Berggren.
If you're a Tyler Heat fan, you need a good shot now. It is critical to close out this quarter. We'll need a good, clean shot attempt. They've not had many of them.
And we've got 5 seconds to play. Savannah Fuller looking for a teammate, and that shot maybe not blocked, but challenged by Williams, and she's fired up. And that's how we end the third quarter of play. HEA 23, Tyler Heat 17. Final 8 minutes to determine our 8A gold ball winner coming up after this brief intermission. Eight minutes to determine our gold ball winner. HEA flipped the game in that third quarter. They won the quarter 9-0. Tyler Heat is still scoreless in the second half as we start the fourth quarter. That's going to be an air ball from Williams.
You know, give Tyler credit. They've actually defensively done a really good job on Lily Williams. She's had, I think, one good look, but even that was it was a double team. Right now, they've just got to figure out something offensively. Yeah, you don't want to see 0 points in a quarter, and they certainly can't do that here. So I know we've talked a lot about transition and swinging it. You know, at a minimum, I hope we can get some action into the lane, whether dribble, drive, or pass, to kick it out.
And that's a double block from Williams.
Probably double-digit blocks at this point.
It was a good look from Fuller. She just left it a little bit short, and then on the offensive rebound, Williams denied 2 different Heat players. Unofficial count, like Thomas said, we believe she's at least got a double-double, rebounds potentially a triple-double. We might check with HEA after the game to confirm that, but certainly a huge impact in this game. Rao has the shot if she wants it. Would love to see her step a little bit closer to that three-point line and be willing to pull the trigger.
Yeah, Tyler's almost daring Rao to shoot that thing, and like you said, she's capable of making that shot.
Nice look underneath by Williams to Lincoln.
That is tough. Your best player steps out from the rim, delivers a spot-on pass. Big-time play.
And not only that, but that was Lincoln's first basket since the opening minutes of the first quarter. Three-pointer, that's going to be an air ball from Berggren.
So I'm hoping Tyler Heat can get something off of the dribble drive here. Savannah Fuller has shown she can get into the paint, as is her sister, but then when we get in, what we know is that the finishing is going to be hard because you have Lily Williams. So if you can get into the paint as a facilitator and then kick out, you'll have a rhythm shot.
And we're going to have an offensive foul called on Williams. And apologies on that last possession for Heat. It was Kirksey that missed that three. Under 6 minutes to play. Can Tyler Heat get something going offensively? That three-pointer on the way off. No good to the right.
Not a bad
Arrington.
look. Not a bad look.
Valentine. Coach Williams is going to take a full timeout. 5:40 left to play. HEA with an 8-point lead. So, Thomas, not to, overreach with our conversation about Tyler Heat's offense, but still scoreless in the second half. And if you were Coach Thomas, what would you be telling your girls in this timeout?
Well, I think the one thing at this point, what I've seen, watching this game now 3 quarters in, is we need paint touches from our guards. So what we've seen is that they're not going to be able to finish at the rim very effectively because of the shot block capabilities of Lily Williams. But if you can get the Fuller sisters into the paint and then set up shooters on the outside, I think down 8 at the pace this is going at this point, you got to push in transition in the half court. Everything's got to be dribble drive, attack the paint, and then kick out. They're not going to get any movement or anything at the rim easily with her there. So I think we push in transition, and if not, we dribble drive, attack the rim, but not to finish. It's going to be drive and kick, drive and kick. I think at this point with 5:40 to go, down 8, you're still in this game very much. But I think driving to finish at the rim is highly unlikely with Lily Williams there right now.
I was going to ask you, Kirksey has shown that she's capable of knocking down that three-pointer. I would almost consider going 5 wide and having Kirksey try to pull Williams out of the paint a little bit more, seeing what you could do with that.
Well, yeah, and Savannah and Lexi Fuller have the ability to get into the paint. So if you did go 5 out and let one of them dribble drive and just have your shooters on the outside and get some rhythm shots, but we haven't even seen a good rhythm shot from Tyler Heat this half. Again, the defense that they're playing is pretty solid.
And great job by Williams to draw the defense in. She drew the double team, and Rao couldn't quite get the ball. And Williams goes up and one. That's another big basket, too. All of the Firebirds are fired up.
Here's the thing that's interesting. Offenses are always trying to create advantages, right? Well, when you have a player like Lily Williams, they're doubling her off the catch. So they've already have an automatic advantage every time she catches it because there's already a 3 to 4 advantage once she has the ball. So now all she's having to do is just look up past the open person. So Tyler knows that. They're just having to rotate. I am actually impressed with Tyler's defense this game. They've held them to 27. It's not that. It's just they've got to get some action on the offense is going to give them some shots.
Well, HEA certainly believe in the adage defense wins championships. Defending national champions from last year are showing why in this gold ball game, completely smothering anything Tyler's wanting to do on the offensive side. That shot blocked at the point.
So, Paul, you saw it there. There was a paint touch, a dribble attack. Now, the thing that they've got to understand is that they're not going to score over her at this point. She's proven that. So if you get in, it has to be as a facilitator, not as a scorer. And that, to me, is the big distinction that we've now learned, 28 minutes into this game, right, that we're not going to score over Lily Williams. She might have 11, 12 blocks at this point. Let's use that advantage, draw her in, and then kick it out.
Most of the homeschool world knows by now, but Lily Williams committed to play at Michigan State during her sophomore season. Now as a junior, looking to see if she can defend her undisputed national championship. Lincoln loses the handle on the drive. Gets control, back to Williams. Lincoln back out to Hannah Williams. Inside, Williams got it deep, and we're going to have a foul underneath. That foul is on Kirksey, as Williams had the position.
And she was yelling for it. You see her? She felt it one of the few times this game. She had a one-on-one. She isolated and had a great seal.
And I agree with you, Thomas. I think Tyler has played this game really well defensively as Lincoln slips by the defense and puts it in.
Yeah, it's deflating because, they have laid everything out on the line. And they've played well defensively. They just didn't get enough movement, have not got enough movement thus far on offense to move Lily Williams out where she wasn't as much of a force as she, if you let her dominate, she's going to dominate. And that's what happened this game.
And that ball last touched by the Firebirds. And halfway through the fourth quarter, Tyler Heat still yet to score a single point in this second half. On the drive, we're going to have a foul on Valentine. That's her first.
So that's what we're looking for from Fuller. Dribble, drive, and then now she's got to be thinking, okay, who did I just pull over, and then where did that defender come from, and then kick to her offensive player. So same thing here. You get in the lane, but you keep trying to go over Lily Williams. And it's hard, Paul. This is no fault on these girls. They're playing hard, and they're playing a good game.
And that shot is good for Kirksey, and that's going to lead immediately to a timeout as that cuts the deficit back to single digits, 29-20. And we mentioned it earlier, Thomas, Kirksey can hit that three. She's the one that's being tasked with Williams. And that time, a couple of offensive rebounds and a kick out from Fuller led to that three-pointer from Kirksey. They've had some good looks.
Now they're starting to get them, and that's what I was saying. Like, it's not a knock on anything that Tyler's doing. Habits are hard to break. So you teach players from a young age, hey, attack the rim and finish, and now all of a sudden you get a 6'5" girl in the lane, and it's like, oh, don't do that. Well, you build habits over time and practicing in games. So anyone who's played knows that it's difficult to just shift something you've practiced and worked on just because different players in the lane. And so as you and I are talking about, it's easy for us to say, right? But these girls have been playing this game for a long time, so it's not as easy just to turn a switch off. You're like, oh, now I can't shoot. I got to pass. So anything I'm saying here, is caveated by it's easy for us to talk about on the side, but as a player when you're on the court, it's like you see the angle, you forget that there's a shot blocker, and so it's normal.
It would be the equivalent of the entire season you play a man-to-man defense. You come to nationals and coach grabs the clipboard, hey, we're going to play a 1-3-1 against this team.
Yes, that's it. And so it's, I can sit here and talk about all I want. Tyler's playing a heck of a game, and they're probably the underdog in this game, right? I would imagine. But they're competing, and they're playing hard, and they're not out of it. There's a 9-point game. A couple quick shots, you're right back in it.
They were the runner-up in Pool C, and that's why they're playing HEA, who was the winner of their pool. Reminder that the winner of this game advances to the Gold Ball Showdown Series tomorrow versus the winner of our next game, West Michigan and Chap Chariots.
So interesting. HEA has pulled Lily Williams out of the lane. Looks like they're going to try to slow this thing down and air it out. They've gone to more of a 5-out. And, Paul, in general, I'm not a fan of airing it out this early. It's hard to do for the reasons you just saw, it's hard to air it out for that long. And then sure enough, Tyler Heat comes down in a semi-transition situation, gets a look from Fuller. So if I'm HEA, the same game that got me here, I'm going to stay with. They cannot guard Lily Williams, or struggled to guard Lily Williams in the paint. Stay with what got you here. So now you can see Lily's back on the block, which I think is a better set for them.
And back-to-back triples from Heat. That's going to be a foul given to Kirksey. And I'll have to check what the official scorebook says. Yep, I believe that's 5 fouls on Kirksey, which is also huge for Tyler because that's the size that's been matching up with Williams down low.
Yeah, that's tough. She played a heck of a game. She took the lion's share of guarding Williams. She was the initial defender. They would send a second over to her. But again, it's going to be a big challenge for Tyler Heat now to match up with Lily Williams on the block.
It was an excellent game from Emma Kirksey. Not going to show up a lot in the stat book, but she played. And again, I've watched a lot of games with players guarding Lily Williams. She did an amazing job. She should be really proud of the job that she did. And again, this game's not over. 6-point game as Williams knocks in the first free throw. I would imagine if she was able to go back and watch this tape, we'll see if she'll want to or not, but she can see her positioning on defense and the things that she was able to do.
Oh, we commented on it several times. Tyler Heat's defense has been pretty spectacular, I think, for the majority of this game, and she was an anchor of that, guarding, taking on Lily Williams for the majority of it.
Deep three that time from Fuller.
My. Heat check shot.
And now the Firebirds want to talk about that. Maybe they consider face guarding Fuller moving forward for the final 2:14, but that three is a big one as it is now a 5-point advantage in what was just a 12-point game just a few moments ago.
Well, think about that. They went the third quarter scoreless, and I think the first 3 minutes, may have gone 11 minutes without a field goal and then dropped 3 here in the last, 2 minutes or so. Big-time shot from Fuller.
And she's certainly capable of hitting those shots from deep range. We've seen that last year when she was an 8th grade phenom, and now this year as a freshman.
Yeah, the rest of the national tournament better, homeschool world better watch out because they're going to have to deal with her for 3 more years.
And they're also going to have to deal with Lila Valentine for 3 more years too. So fun seeing 2 really high quality freshmen for both of these teams. Could be battling out for the next couple of years.
That'll be fun.
Inbound to Valentine. Working against her freshman counterpart, Fuller. Crowd wanted a carry.
Ref indicated the ball was tipped.
Valentine, big time 3. And that's good, nothing but net.
Huge shot by Valentine.
Absolute ice in her veins, which we saw last year. And continuing at this national championship, those kind of shots are backbreaking. Arrington's going to fire it up short on the right-hand side. Williams pulls down the rebound. 1.5 minutes to play, 8-point game. We'll see if Tyler Heat decide to start fouling.
So at this point, I think for HEA, now you start thinking about, okay, let's air it out, make them foul us. 90 seconds left, and you got an 8-point lead.
Well, not only that, but Heat has 2 more team fouls before they put HEA in the bonus. Only 1:15 left. They've got to think about taking some fouls here if they want to stop the clock. And then we do get the foul on Lexi Fuller. But that's just the 4th team foul, so they still have 1 more to give. In the backcourt, they get it to Valentine. Working once again against Fuller. Good poise and composure from Valentine. She's now double teamed. They're trying to get the ball out of her hands.
Dangerous
on the bounce pass, stolen by Savannah Fuller. And that's going to be a foul, which will stop the clock.
We mentioned it earlier, Paul. It's hard to air the ball out. Many teams don't practice it, but sometimes holding that ball for 30, 60 seconds outside of your normal offense is a difficult challenge. That's not something you typically see teams work on in practice. And so when you get to a game like that, when you're out of your offense, you're kind of just back and forth, sharing the ball. It can end up backfiring. It's a delicate balance on when and how and if even to do that or to keep playing your offense. I played for coaches that refused to do that at any point. And the philosophy on that point was, hey, we built our lead playing this way. Why would we change it?
I was going to say, philosophically, I've heard that conversation a lot within basketball circles about whether or not you stall or when do you stall, how long, should you do that for. And, it's funny, as you were talking about that, I remember many practices with your dad practicing that 5-wide stalling technique. And
he did that, yeah.
He did, and obviously it was a counter to what they were seeing at nationals.
Yes.
And so, we tried to be prepared for that as best we could. But I agree with you. I'm of the camp that I think teams should run what got you there. And if you stall, I've seen so many times, we've even seen it this week at nationals, teams that had a 10, 20-point lead in a game start stalling in the 4th quarter, and teams are good enough to come back.
Because you lose momentum.
And 2 different games back-to-back over at Evangel yesterday, we saw a team that had a 10-plus lead in the 4th quarter lose because not even necessarily stalling, but just trying to get that clock to 0 instead of just playing basketball.
And that's it. You start playing defensive-minded basketball instead of offensive-minded basketball. I don't mean that defensive offense. I mean like attack. Like your mentality changes from, instead of like pushing and pursuing, you're kind of just trying to protect. And I don't think you win games like that.
So right before that timeout, Fuller was able to connect on 1 of 2 free throws. They do inbound the ball to Valentine. She gets it up ahead to Lincoln. in the corner. Hannah Williams back up to Valentine. Good job by HEA to continue to move the ball around like a hot potato into Lily Williams. And we have a player down. Just an awkward fall on the spin. We're going to take a brief intermission. Well, Thomas, it was really good to see Riley Bergren be able to walk off on her own power. Prayers that she's okay.
Anytime you see a knee injury, everyone just kind of pauses and just hope and pray that it's superficial and nothing beyond that as far as the injury is concerned.
Meanwhile, towards the end of this game, we're now under 20 seconds. Fuller is able to steal it up ahead to Savannah. And I think we're going to have a timeout. Tyler Heat mostly wanted to stop the clock as the ball was sitting on the baseline. HEA was in no hurry to inbound it. We had a situation yesterday where in one of the boys' varsity games, they had the shot was made and the clock still kept running, and the team that was ahead just refused to go pick up the ball on the sideline. And one of the boys approached the ball but had his hands back like, oh, I'm not picking it up. And the ref ended up actually calling a delay of game and then came to our broadcast booth and explained to us after the fact that had he not done that, like put his hands up like I'm not picking it up, if he had done that thing where, oh, I'm switching out which player is going to pick up the ball, he would have let it run. But as soon as the player put his hands back and said, I'm not going to pick it up, he called a delay of game.
Interesting, because I know after made shots, you're a live ball, so the clock runs. But at what point is that considered? Because let's just say there's 9 seconds left. At what point does the ref stop it and say?
Or start the 5-second count.
Or start the 5-second count
Yeah.
would be the second question. When does that start after made basket? Or I don't know what the rule is.
I can appreciate the basketball IQ and the gamesmanship of it. Certainly not if you're the team that's behind.
No, and if you're out of timeouts as well.
Right. So I think the referee is trying to figure out the clock situation because I believe it was 9 seconds, and then when we looked up it said 0.9. So I think the ref added a little bit extra time during that timeout. So 9 seconds to play. HEA's up 5, inbounding. Full court. Into Valentine. She lost the handle on it. That's going to be stolen by Fuller. Blocked by Valentine. That three-pointer no good. At the buzzer, the shot's going to be put in, but it's going to be a little bit too little too late for the Tyler Heat. And the HEA Firebirds will once again advance. They are your 8A Gold Ball champions, heading to the National Final Four tomorrow. And they're probably going to stick around to watch the winner of this game. That's who they'll face next. On behalf of Thomas Sanders, my name is Paul Gilmore. We want to thank you for joining us on this broadcast. Make sure you stick around for another girls 18 game coming up right after this.